What's up, guys? Let's talk about the overall crypto market, overall economy, and my thoughts regarding that. So it's very, very confusing, everything that's kind of going on. I'm watching the super doges here, so we got a whole pack with us. I'm going to be watching over them while I make this video. And so one of the things about the crypto market, obviously, a lot of what's propelling it is clearly kind of the hype behind the potential for the Bitcoin ETF, potential Ethereum ETF. Which, I've been living through this since 2014. There's been proposals since at least 2014. And, it's never happened to this point, but it seems closer than ever in some respects, further away in other respects. And we will see kind of what the SEC rules. But, clearly the hype itself is, propelling this whole thing. Hopefully I don't get my ACLs taken out here by this little pack of doges. So one of the things I was wanting to say just about the overall economy, we've got a super doge here coming, Diesel, 225 pounds. Back in the day, he'd be guarding castles. Big dog. So, yeah, like there's 17 million people who are 60 days or more behind on their car payments, which is obviously pretty extreme. All the repos are cranking up. And over 15% of people in the United States have a car payment over $1,000 a month, which is pretty insane. If you've been following me for a while, I've never personally made car payments, even in low interest environments. That's something I've never done. For better or for worse, I've never done that. I always like to keep it so that, that really can't kind of be taken away from me in that manner, and where I actually have somewhat ownership, obviously of the vehicles because I own them outright. Now, one of the things with the median house prices in the United States, it would basically require a person to make $120,000 to qualify for these loans under normal conditions, when it's around this, 7.8 to 8% interest rates. Obviously a precarious situation because the median salary is way below 120,000. So makes it a very, very, very tough situation for most people to buy. And one of the things that a lot of people don't really kind of acknowledge is the fact that there's so many single people in the United States that they're not able to kind of group together, and where it's actually a couple going in and buying a house. So it's like they had to kind of carry this burden themselves. Further exacerbates the issue with the housing situation. And then obviously you have over 10 million illegal immigrants that have just flooded into our country, and they're just, if you've seen the videos, they basically cut the fences, just let them come in, give them a fist bump. So I don't know what the, obviously the plan is to try to get their votes. That's the main plan, but how that actually turns around as far as the fact that a lot of them aren't going to have a work permit, and depending on what state they end up in and what company they can try to get on with, if they're willing to actually find work, or if it ends up kind of being under the table, as far as whether it be construction, landscaping, and just kind of cash money stuff, who knows. Obviously there were certain cities were kind of fronting the bill with some of this stuff, and then some people seem to be not getting these benefits. So that's a strange situation. But overall, as far as an economy, I would say like people are essentially out of money, and this is, statistically backed up by the amount of credit card debt is pretty much at an all-time high. You got the student loan crisis, but nobody's really talking about the student loans anymore. It's kind of like you kind of hear these various things about how Biden has essentially relieved, more student loans, or forgiven more student loans and stuff like that. We really don't know what's kind of going on with that. If a lot of people have kind of deferred their payments further and it's racking up more interest, I really can't say. That being said, anecdotally, one of the sleeper agents out in Tucson, Steve McClare, he said that several co-workers, that they're talking about getting second jobs. Another thing that I've seen throughout the Midwest is a lot of the positions where they were begging for bodies, having open interviews Monday through Friday, they're not doing that anymore. So I think a lot of stuff's dried up as far as things have kind of slowed down. But then also on top of that, people are sticking around in these jobs a little bit longer, stuff that maybe they would have just kind of tossed to the side, worked there for a bit and then kept it moving kind of thing. I think they're sticking a little longer. So the dynamic is rebalancing itself as far as that's concerned. And then obviously in a lot of these cities, and you can see the forefront of kind of the housing market related stuff would be San Francisco. A lot of price cuts there, and a lot of people kind of having to lower prices or not even getting offers at prices that were 2017, 2016, potentially even 2015 price levels because of all the issues in San Francisco, all the crime, all the homelessness, all that kind of stuff. So it's very strange as far as that goes. As far as the crypto market, I have been surprised that this boom has had this many legs, even though there is a lot locked up in stable coins and stuff like that. You got to sit there and think, well, how much money do people really have to throw at crypto, and especially if they were sort of targeting 2025 as being the next cycle peak, the 4-year cycle. So it's just kind of like a mid-cycle kind of boom. But it has legitimate legs. You know, there's legitimate FOMO out there, and there's legitimately like a lot of activity. A lot of NFTs have even kind of came off the floor of where they were at. A lot of different projects going parabolic in the last 90 days. And, you know, general just kind of like, you know, extreme pumps, extreme hype on the layer ones, as well as some of the meme coins like bonk. So, you know, you kind of see that kind of activity, and it's hard for people to ignore, but then it's like, well, how much money they have to kind of put forward. Another thing I wanted to mention is the whole Black Friday situation. It was like Black Friday really didn't happen, and that used to be something that, you know, people were lining up at the doors, you know, going crazy, and you could say, well, they ordered online. I really don't think there was a lot of people like really going crazy ordering like extreme amounts. So I think that this whole Christmas period, this whole Thanksgiving Christmas period, that is usually, you know, definitely a banger, I think it was lackluster, to be honest with you. Man, these Doges, I tell you, whole pack of them. It's wild. Look at Diesel. Beast. But yeah, so I would say some of the stuff is perplexing, and I do think that, you know, we're certainly going to have a slowdown through this. People are making a push, obviously, for, you know, some kind of Christmas presents and everything like that, and probably people are going to really have to hunker down when it comes to January, February, March, April. How that's going to reflect in the stock market, I think this stuff even went on a lot longer than like guys like Michael Berry had put in a huge short position. He had to cover that short position at a huge loss, because there's all these telltale signs that we're going to have this economic collapse, this housing collapse. We're going to have all this stuff, and it's just like it kind of keeps getting pushed down the, like the can keeps getting kicked down the road, kicked down the road, kicked down the road. So it is very perplexing. It's like, when is this going to happen? When is this going to completely collapse out? Completely collapse out. And, you know, like I said in a previous video, I think that this crypto boom is going to last at least till January 10th. And that's when some of the last kind of dates are for the current proposals that are out there. But they keep kind of redoing the proposals. They keep extending the stuff. They keep putting in new proposals. And, you know, that's just one of the things that has been this ongoing situation, but I think it'll perpetuate this crypto boom. Now we might have a pullback here, maybe to 39 or 40,000 for Bitcoin or something like that, to kind of like take a breather. People are taking some profits and stuff like that. But I do see it kind of continuing through this hype. And, you know, and it's crazy because a guy like Michael Saylor's, in a lot of respects, is looking like a genius for the moment. Now, is he going to sell any of his stuff and take some of that off the table? Because his average was around 30,000 or so. And he kept buying, he kept buying. He was underwater for the longest time. I was expecting him to get liquidated. He never did. And for the moment, he's looking like a genius. Now, does it turn on him? And then we have the rest of the bear market for another couple years. It's really hard saying. That's why I don't bet against I don't bet against Bitcoin. I don't short Bitcoin. I think that that's, you know, personally, it's just dangerous. Even when I feel the trend is going a certain way, I just never do that. You know, over the long term, the chart is up and to the right. And at the end of the day, I mean, I do think that this crypto market does have legs for another month or so, despite the economy does not feel good. Now, gas prices, I think people are not moving around as much. They're trying to stay stationary, and I think this has caused some of these prices in the Midwest for gas to actually dip below $3 a gallon again. People start trying to go just point A to point B. They're not trying to do extra. And that's another anecdotal thing. You know, I've seen this. People are not trying to do extra. Anyway, guys, I got to get these doges inside. So let me know if you guys have seen a lot of like slowdowns in your business, a lot of slowdowns in what other people are doing, and what's your kind of anecdotal and just your kind of boots on the ground type, you know, observations from out there. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel, leave a comment below, and follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, YouTube, Instagram, Steam, and Twitter, Hive, DTube, Blurt, everywhere.